Love, exciting and new.
Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever.
It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships are Bermudan and British Registry.
This episode is brought to you by Abercrombie. Build your fits of the day with Abercrombie's newest denim drop. Here's where to start. Abercrombie's 90s straight jean goes with any shirt from tees to sweater polos. Super versatile. Their loose and baggy jeans are more trend forward, so you can grab those and go out with your friends. Abercrombie's denim fits come in a range of washes. Build your looks around Abercrombie denim. Shop online or in store.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Wake up! They just put it on the mic. Wake up! I can't do Surge. I can't do Surge Tankian.
Ryan, that was so good. You're risking a copyright strike. You know, so
That's why
accurate.
I shortened it to like 5 seconds. And then,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, indistinguishable words. Anyway, welcome to the Saturday big game preview edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I am one of your hosts, and to my right is a man joining us from parts unknown. Weight unknown? Dustin Henry. Dustin.
My weight is very much known, and I'm not happy with it at the moment. I gotta get moving. But I am broadcasting from parts unknown, hence the virtual background. Got a little bit of a different setup this morning, but Ryan, I could not miss the Super Bowl preview show with you. And as you know, the highlights of my weekend are often the brunch shows with you. They got a different feel to them. And I'm excited to be here with you. And also, we have some guests planned, too. Don't want to spoil it for anybody. We will be revealing them shortly.
Yes, we will be revealing them shortly, even though they're already in the card, in the thumbnail. But regardless, before we get to our introduction of our guests, we just want to remind you to please visit us on social media. Follow us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search No Credentials Required. And also find our many articles and other podcasts on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And last but not least, don't forget to get yourself notified on Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. And on YouTube. That way you know when show announcements go up, when we have videos go up. Our shorts are exploding, Dustin. And it doesn't sound, it's not personal. It's just our YouTube shorts are starting to explode. I put up the 57-second clip of you talking about Luka Doncic, and it's skyrocketed. And you know, it's I have you to thank for that, for your takes. But also I want to thank our audience. There's some of our we've got some new subscribers too. So welcome aboard welcome to be a cred head. And don't forget, there's merch. We got merch too in the description. We got a link in the description for our merch from our Bonfire store. Hopefully we can add more stuff throughout the year as we come up with more catchphrases and ideas for shirts and merch. But yes, if you want to show the world that you're a true cred head, visit our Bonfire store in the description. Get some nice gear. So all that being said, I forgot to mention, on the podcast side, please rate and review. A 5-star rating would be helpful. A review, if you're on a platform, would be helpful. If on a platform we can leave a review, that'll be helpful. If you're on Spotify, leave us a comment. We will be generous and read your review and your comment on the air. They can be positive. They can be super positive and flowery with all the sunshine, lollipops and rainbows in the world, or it can be completely dank. We're still going to read them. And also because we are a live show Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern and Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We welcome all your comments. And also, if you're watching on the replay on Rumble or on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, which will be available will be a replay on a little bit later today. We want to thank you and leave a comment because it drives the algorithm, as well as leaving a like. Leave us a comment. And again, live show. Leave comments during the live show on No Credentials Required YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. And Dustin, I know you're on Parts Unknown, but even from Parts Unknown, you can still hear the magical sound.
I feel it in the air. It's chime time.
I can feel it. Here it is. I haven't had one sip of coffee yet, and I'm buck wild this morning.
We're on one. Here we go.
We're on it. All right, but we're gonna bring in one of our special guests today. He is a part of the Snowman in the Morning crew. He's making his No Credentials Required debut. He's a friend of mine. He goes by another name, but we affectionately call him this. Please welcome to the show, Victor Locke.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself? Thanks for joining us on No Credentials Required. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's quite an honor.
Yeah,
We're excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to know you and your time with being a part of the Snowman crew every once in a while, and I'll jump in the chat or I'll jump on the show just to give my take on sports. And you guys always been welcoming to me, and I wanted to. I said, you know what? I was looking for another guest because the guest we usually have on for our Super Bowl preview, he's unfortunately on a funeral. His grandma passed away. So Jared, our thoughts and prayers with you and your family.
Yes, indeed.
And we usually have Cole on. Looks like he's running a little bit late, but I was like, I've never had on the program. I've never had Victor Locke. I've never had Victor on the program, and I'm like, all right, Victor, let's go. Let's do this.
All right.
We got to lock him down. I'm sorry, I had to.
That's all right. That's all right. I am totally happy. I'm totally ecstatic right now.
So we're gonna get going with our. I guess fine. I'll call it Super Bowl preview. Actually, let me get this going here. So this Sunday, tomorrow afternoon, late evening, 6:30 Eastern, kickoff time between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, representing their respective conferences. And I'm going to have Victor lead off here. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to. We're going to give our final score prediction, or what we're looking for, not so much looking forward to, but what we're looking at in terms of matchups, in terms of what's going to be the most important aspects of the game. We'll also give our final score predictions, and we're going to talk about one quirky thing we kind of like to see during this game.
Okay.
So, Victor, I'm gonna have you lead off here. What's your biggest? What's gonna be the biggest impact for either team to win in this game? What's gonna be the biggest aspect of either of these teams winning?
Well, for the Eagles, I think it's almost academic. It's Saquon Barkley. I mean, the man is a monster of an athlete. That that backwards hurdle still is the thing that's talked about this year. If it's not play of the year, I don't know what's going to be. And it's really going to come down to, can the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs, can they contain Saquon? They're not going to stop him, but can they contain him enough to where they can outgain him? On the Chiefs side, of course, going to be Patty Mahomes. Is this his year to get 3 in a row? Is he going to be able to get 3 in a row? And if he does get 3 in a row, could this knock him up a little bit more into that GOAT conversation? Because a lot of people are trying to put him in there. I think if he gets 3 in a row, it might cement him into the conversation.
Yeah, Dustin, how about you? What's the one thing a couple things you're looking out for this game?
The thing for me, and I'm going to kind of springboard off of what Victor said, and I'm going to refer to, of course, I'm going to be watching Saquon. Everybody's going to be watching Saquon after the year that he's had. But the key matchup, I think, to me in this game is the Chiefs' offensive line, or the Chiefs' defensive pass rush versus the Eagles' offensive line. Well, and I'm sorry to bring it up again, Ryan, but the Eagles have done very well pretty much taking Mekhi Becton off the scrap heap. And he has been a big reason, moving him into a position that he's clearly more comfortable with on the offensive line has opened big dividends for the Eagles offensive line. And part of Saquon's success is due to the fact that the Eagles offensive line has been able to open massive holes for him. One of the last games that he played, I think it was the Rams game, he was averaging 7.8 yards per carry before being touched. So he's basically getting a first down almost. He's 2 yards shy of a first down before he's touched. And a lot of that was due. Some of it's just because Saquon is Saquon, right?
Yeah.
We can't take credit away from the man. But the Eagles offensive line has been huge this year in opening holes and getting him a hole to run through where he's so fast. So I want to see how the Eagles will their offensive line be able to hold up against that Chiefs pass rush, which hasn't been as dominant at points during this year, but they've been very opportunistic. They always seem to come up with a big sack when they need it. Steve Spagnuolo times the perfect time to dial up some exotic blitz. We saw what it did to Josh Allen and the Bills. Will the Eagles offensive line, which I think is maybe a little bit better than the Bills offensive line, be able to contain that Chiefs pass rush a little bit, that timely Chiefs pass rush? That's what I'm going to be having my eye on.
Yeah. For me, I actually got into a discussion about regarding this last night. We were talking about the Super Bowl, and because I've seen talking to a friend I haven't seen in a while, where his wife had asked me, "What are you guys talking about?" Actually, no, it was another friend of ours. She's like, "What are you guys looking for with the Super Bowl?" And I said, "There's a couple things that need to be done. The Eagles need to get out to an early lead, a big early lead. They need to play the same game, almost the same game they played in the NFC Championship game, where, yes, they'll give up a time-consuming drive, and then get those points back on one run." So what they did was they in the first run play of the game on the offensive side for them, they faked the jet sweep and pitched it to Saquon. That caused a ton of confusion on the defensive side of the ball, and then Saquon just took care of the rest. Yeah. So they need to get out early. They need to force turnovers like they did in that championship game, like they did with the Commanders' second series. They forced that fumble inside their own territory, where they forced it on the kick return after they scored a touchdown. If they can force turnovers on the Chiefs, which they don't, and the Chiefs don't, they don't turn over the ball a whole lot. When we saw that one stat on last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, where that fumble that Ed Oliver had recovered, that was the Chiefs' first turnover in over 500 plays. Man, that's a ridiculous stat. So the Eagles have to force a turnover in order for them to win. They've got to go out to a big lead, because the Chiefs don't lose. They don't lose close games. Yeah, we know this. We've seen this all season. They do not lose close games. They either have to get blown out, like in week 7, like in week 18, but that was a mere formality. They didn't have most of the starters in, or like their first game against Buffalo in the regular season in week 8, week 9.
I think it was week 8. I think.
Yeah, when Buffalo went up early and they just kept the momentum going, and they didn't surrender the lead again. So the Eagles have to force the issue very, very early, because if you don't force the issue early, Patrick Mahomes is going to dissect you. Yeah, and he's not doing it the ways he did in the past, where he would get a deep ball every once in a while. You haven't seen the Chiefs throw the deep ball that often this season at all. A lot of the stuff is just dink, like old school, like old Tom Brady later in his career.
It's a lot of quick outs.
A lot of quick outs, dink and dunk. The occasional pass to Kelsey, and then see what he does with the rest of it. The occasional run for Pacheco or for Hunt or for Samaje Perine, coming out of the backfield on a wheel route, or coming across coming out in the crossing pattern.
Yeah.
So the Eagles need to capitalize on any mistakes that the Chiefs make early. Problem is the Chiefs don't make many mistakes.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this in the last episode in our championship wrap-up episode. You can't let the factor of the referees come into your head. You can't let that play in your head. Mm-hmm. And even the players and the referees were asked about this. The Chiefs players and referees were asked about this. For some wise Alec DJ from Boston. But what about the referees? They seem to favor you. They're like, dude, go away. No, they don't.
Well, and it's ironic
I'm sick of hearing that narrative too. Like that narrative has to die.
It's ironic that somebody from Boston would say that too after the years of the Patriots.
Thank you.
The Brady years.
Thank you.
Yeah. and you know, I couldn't agree more with what you said, Ryan. The ticket to the Eagles winning this game, which I think there's a big section of the country that wants to see the Eagles win this game simply because they're tired of the Chiefs.
Right.
The Eagles have to figure out a way to generate turnovers. I think you hit the nail right on the head, because if it comes down to the game late, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. You can't bet against him. And it's the old cliche. The Chiefs know how to close gaps. They won't get rattled. They're going to win the game, if it comes down to it late. So the Eagles have to assert dominance early and assume that the Chiefs will come back. But I wanted to ask both of you. You mentioned the deep ball, Ryan, and that Patrick Mahomes is not getting the deep ball as much as every once in a while he'd be able to use that arm and just launch it down the field.
Right.
I thought that DeAndre Hopkins, when they acquired DeAndre Hopkins, I thought he would be that deep threat that they were looking for, and he really hasn't. He had one game, I think, where he came up huge for the Chiefs and caught a lot of passes, but they weren't deep bombs. He hasn't had the impact that I thought he would. And is it partially because DeAndre Hopkins is just old now, or do you think he's still trying to find his way into the scheme?
Well, personally, I think it's more of this. It's not part of the scheme, and it's something like Andy Reid. Andy Reid isn't all that known for launching the ball. He's more for like getting sure first downs. If you can get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a play, he's fine with that. He's not known for the long bombs. I mean, I don't even think Michael Vick threw long bombs when he was with the Eagles, and I'm pretty sure Andy Reid was there at the time too. So it's almost like he wasn't. Like Andy Reid is not really that much into it, and it's not so much the Kansas City Chiefs way. They're more like get the sure passes, get the more high percentage opportunities, and if they get the first downs, they get into first downs. So if I'm the Eagles, I would put as much pressure on Patty Mahomes as I possibly can. Try to make him force errant throws so that secondary can make hay. And if I'm the Chiefs, I need to make a wall around Patrick Mahomes, get Pacheco and Kareem Hunt out there early to try and set the tone.
So I was looking at the stats for the Chiefs, and the longest pass play that DeAndre Hopkins has as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs is 35 yards. Okay. The longest passing play that Patrick Mahomes has had this year is 54. So you're not seeing like the 60 plus 70-yard bombs. If there's going to be a long pass play, it's going to be a catch and run.
Yes,
we saw that in their game against Houston in the divisional, where we had Travis Kelce catch the ball in the middle of the field, wide open, mind you, and then just take it to the 2-yard line, and the Chiefs punched it in from there.
Yep.
So if you're not going to see a long bomb, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that they're just changing the way that their offense is schemed. Is Patrick Mahomes hurt? Is he just not having a great season with his arm? Mm-hmm. Regardless, he's still a weapon out there. And what you're going to need to do with him is that he's not only going to use his arm, he's going to use his legs. We've seen this a lot in the playoffs. He had a rushing touchdown against the Bills in the championship game. I believe he also had one in the divisional round against the Texans. And part of the interruption here, gentlemen, but we've got another special guest joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. He is the co-owner of Comey Media. He's also co-host of Total Football Talk, the OG show, not the original, not the extra show, not extra, but the OG Total Football Talk show. He's a great friend of mine. He's a great friend of the show, Mr. Cole Johnson. Mr. Johnson, pleasure for you to join us today.
Well, Mr. Henry, Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Locke, it is a pleasure to see all three of you gentlemen, and thank you for inviting me on the platform again.
If I may, I want to just say this right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the man behind Cone Media, the man who is now creating the new sweep known as the Morning Shift.
Yes.
Thank you.
He is the undefeated, undisputed internet comedy champion of the world, the EP of all EPs, Iron Cole Johnson.
Well, thank you to the Ed McMahon of the Snowman the Morning Show, one Mr. Victor Locke, a.k.a. Victor Locke.
Hold on, I got it.
Victor Locke.
Let me just say, sir? Cole, you're one of a kind, because I tried to do that once on the show, and it did not end well. I banned myself. from doing it
yourself. Oh my
God. Yeah.
You can also play in the background.
Yeah. Oh man!
I'm gonna blind people. I'll stop.
Yeah.
It's also gonna make them see red afterwards too.
Yeah.
My!
So Cole, we were just discussing what we're looking out for, respectively, in terms of tomorrow's game between Kansas City and Philadelphia. You and our other friend of the show, Drew Willingham, shout out to you, Willie, went into it on Total Football Talk, but we want to get your insight here as well. What are you looking for tomorrow's game? What things do you think Kansas City needs to do to win 3 Super Bowls in a row? What are some things that Philadelphia needs to do to win their second title in, I think, 8 years? Yeah, 8 years.
All right, I'll go with the Chiefs first then. I think what they need to do is they need to force Jalen Hurts, and to me, I think it's defensively. Offensively, all Patrick Mahomes has to do is just be himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's too hard of an issue, whether he throws for 150 yards or 400. Just as long as he's himself, he doesn't turn the ball over, and he gets his offense rolling the way it's supposed to roll. And unfortunately, the way things have been in terms of how people have tried to stop the Chiefs offensively, that now is almost a non-starter. It's like, okay, number 50 is going to be number 15. However he rolls is how he rolls. To me, the Chiefs defensively have to force Jalen Hurts to be a pocket passer. They have to force him to be a pocket passer. I mean, there isn't any two ways around it. Now, am I saying, or Eagles fan, am I saying that, well, if the Chiefs forced Hurts to be a pocket passer, that means it's an automatic win? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the best chance for the Chiefs to win is to force him to be that way. If he uses his legs, that is a problem for the Chiefs. If Saquon Barkley gets going, that's a problem with the Chiefs too. The Chiefs are not the greatest at run stopping, so that could be an issue.
Yeah.
But to me, the number one battle, the key battle in this whole game is between Kellen Moore / Nick Sirianni against Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
Whoever calls the better plays for their unit, they will win the game for their team. No matter what the Chiefs offense and the Eagles defense do.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I mean, I was talking earlier about how the Kansas City pass rush hasn't been dominant, but they've been very timely and opportunistic. They've been able to come up with a key stop or sack when they need it, or pressure, whatever. Steve Spagnuolo has, I would argue I don't know if he would ever take one, but he has played his way, so to speak, back into consideration for head coaching jobs, at least interviews in the future. He would get them, but I don't think he would leave Kansas City. I mean, if you've got things going the way that they've got it going, why would you leave? But he's been a master at dialing up the correct time to send the pass rush, so to speak, to unleash the hounds, so to speak. He does it at the right time during the game.
Yeah,
and he's done a masterful job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be an interesting. Now, the over under for this game, I'm going to bring a betting line into this. I'm sorry, I have to, but the betting line is 48.5 for the over under.
That's a bit high.
Yeah,
I thought it was low, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, if you're dealing with how they were 2 years ago, that is low. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But the reason why I say I think that's a little high is I think both teams, if you're going to just look at both teams offensively, I think they want to control the ball.
Yes.
For the Eagles, they want to have time of possession to get the ball out of the hands of Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs, they want to own time possession to get the ball not in the breadbasket of one Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Yeah, they've got to keep. If you're the Eagles, you've got to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. You just have to, because he's going to find he's very opportunistic with his legs as well. He's not known. We know that he can move, and we know that he can expand the pocket, and he can easily, as Ryan pointed out, he can get touchdowns with his legs as well as anybody. But that's not. We don't look at him, at least I don't, and I can't speak for everybody, but I don't look at him the same way as I look at Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels, where that is not their only aspect of the game, but it is a huge aspect of the game. Lamar Jackson as well. We always talk about his dual threat. Patrick Mahomes is one, but we don't even talk about him in the same way with his legs as we do Josh Allen, for example, in my opinion. Patrick Mahomes kind of does it under the radar as Patrick Mahomes can be.
That's sound, Dustin. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, this is going to be, but it could be one of two games. It could either be a defensive battle where you'll see both teams drive the field, but they can't put it in the end zone. You can't pocket in the end. You can't put a touchdown in the end zone. And you have to kick a field goal, or it's going to be like it was 2 years ago, where it's touchdowns. It's going to be
touchdown city.
Touchdown city. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, each team scored 5 touchdowns in the game. So yeah.
So, well, here's the thing too. Unlike a few years ago, where Philadelphia was having trouble with traction because the NFL put in the wrong turf at State Farm Stadium. You can't use that excuse anymore. You can't use that excuse again because of the turf that the Superdome uses. You can't use that excuse anymore. Like, I didn't get good traction. No, you don't have an excuse this time. Sorry.
And plus, the Eagles have already played on this field this year. So, no, they definitely don't have that excuse.
No, they don't. All right. So, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's going to be a very interesting game. It could either be a shootout or it could be a war of attrition.
Yeah.
We haven't seen one of those Super Bowls in a while. I mean, the last one I could think of is New England Rams from a few years ago, where it was 13-3. It was the most boring Super Bowl I've ever watched.
The touchdown was scored in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I'm hoping I really don't. We'll get to it later when we do our picks, but I was telling Victor before the show in the green room, I'm having trouble getting a feel for this game. I really don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And I'm just hoping for a good one. I do not want to snooze fest,
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for as well. And I know everyone knows I'm the residential Cowboys fan, so it was like, oh, you definitely don't want the Eagles to win. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. As long as it's a good game, I don't care. I just know I'll probably get kicked around if the Eagles do win. But I'm looking for a good game.
Side note for you, Victor, and this does not go to you. This this goes to many Cowboys fans that I do know.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite days just transpired when 2 weeks ago we got a chance to see the Eagles and the Commanders go at it for the NFC crown.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys were on the outside looking in, and they're like, "Good Lord, you mean to tell me we're so bad that we got to look up at two teams that are better than us?"
Yeah.
That just warmed my heart.
Not
you, but
I know. I was actually also very proud of Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
Just how much they improved from last year to this year. They look like a different team, new culture, new quarterback, and I believe he's going to bring a ring to Washington.
And you know where
he's a stud in the making, no question.
You know where that starts though? It starts at ownership. Josh Harris is an excellent owner.
Yes.
Between his time with the Philadelphia 76ers,
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey Devils, the jury's still out, in my opinion, as a New Jersey Devils fan.
Right.
But
wow.
As far as the last 2 seasons have gone in Washington, with Josh Harris as the primary owner, and yes, they had to make a transition last year with letting Ron Rivera go, and that whole thing that was just a whole mess left over from the previous regime of he who will not be named, who is now somewhere in Britain, being very, very angry at the fact that he hates the fact that the Commanders are successful.
That's another thing that made me happy. That's another thing that made me happy.
Ice cream. Yeah.
That's another thing that made me
happy. The ice cream, Ryan.
Yes, copious amounts of vanilla ice cream.
Oh boy.
See, I did not. Oh, I'm today years old. Okay, so he does not like vanilla ice cream. Nice. So he doesn't like vanilla ice cream, having to basically strike the slur off of the name and being threatened.
You didn't say it right. It's the slur.
I'm sorry. To strike the slur off the name of the team. And being threatened to have all advertisers pulled. And the NFL hate him.
If I could pick you guys' brain a little bit about that, what are your thoughts on the possibility that the slur could come back? I honestly think it's probably gonna be just for like throwback jerseys, like Redskins of the olden days, and see how that see the temperature on that. And if that does work out for most fans, they might put it back on the 50-yard line. But that's just my opinion. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind because if you know about the history of the logo itself, that logo was designed by a Native American from the Blackfoot tribe. So as far as the name goes, maybe put that on the shelf. But as far as like the logo itself goes, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I land on it, Ryan, is the logo. The logo, I don't think was ever the issue.
No.
Because it's not in the case of Cleveland where they had the logo with the smile and that whole thing. The
face beat red.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
The previous name of the team, I think, is the issue. The logo was never the issue. So I think the logo comes back, no question about it. The name, like Ryan said, I don't think you dust that one off.
And I hate to be boring, but I
power
agree.
Power through it.
But I agree. No, I'm just joking. I agree with Ryan and Dustin. Look, the logo is fire, and I've said this, and of course, you all know Drew. He's a huge Commanders fan, and I said to him long before when I teased him about the slur. So I was like, I've never had an issue with the logo, and people would attack me when I say, well, they had to strip the slur from the team. Well, the logo was created by an Indian. I don't care. I love the logo. I'm not talking about the logo.
Talking about the name.
Talking about the name. The name is offensive. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care how tied to the name you are, that it reminds you of your childhood. It reminds me of my childhood too, but it's like it's a doggone slur. I mean, I don't want to see a team that's called that, or the Mexican thing or the black thing. That's a slur.
Right.
I don't think it's right. Forget politically correct. I don't think it's right.
And-
What, the
and-
logo? Yes. But I do think they will probably try to test it out a little bit to see, well, they may do a name, like they might do something similar to what the my least favorite team, the Titans, do. And then they bring back the Houston Oilers jersey and the helmet and the logo,
the foilers.
Yes.
Foilers.
And they just foil all over the field all of the Oilers stuff. I could see them a game or two, like against the Cowboys and against maybe the Eagles. I could see them doing something like that, break that out every now and then,
or the Giants,
maybe even test the name. But no. But I think they actually might dust the logo off. Period. One of these days, I think
you could do what Florida State does. Use an actual tribe.
That's why I'm with it. I'm like, use it. And I said this to Drew on Total Football Talk. I'm like, I don't care. I would love if they actually found a tribe that's within the area and rep them. I think
the Blackfoot tribe.
Yeah,
you have the Blackfoot tribe.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Yeah,
that's the member who created the logo.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
If they call it Washington Blackfoot, I'm like, cool, no problem. Roll with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's get back on. Actually, I was going to get your take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame changing their name, but I don't care because I'm Irish. I don't care. Use the name. It's a French sounding school, but it's.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan says, "Kiss me, I'm Irish."
How you doing, ladies? So we're gonna bring it back on track to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. We're gonna get our final score predictions before we take a commercial break. And actually, we're gonna do one other thing. We're gonna ask for one quirky thing to happen that we hope happens during the Super Bowl. But let's get to our final score predictions first. Victor, I'm going to start with you. What's your final score prediction? Is Kansas City going to be a three-peat champ for the first time ever in NFL history, or will the Philadelphia Eagles, will they stop those efforts?
I think the Chiefs will get there. I think they will get a three-peat. It's not going to be like a total onslaught. I'm thinking of something about maybe 28-14 about there. Ooh. To see, because I think the defenses are going to really step up for this game.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, how about you?
Well, matter of correction. This won't be the first ever three-peat champion in NFL history.
Well, that's what I was getting to. I meant Super Bowl history. I apologize.
Yeah. And I say this because I know a couple Packers fans. If you were to say that around then, they would be quick to say, "No, our team has done it twice." I get it.
While they eat a block of cheese, yes.
Right.
Right.
The final score. Ooh. I'm almost thinking it's going to be almost similar to last year, where not necessarily 25-22, but I think it might be like 24-21 or 26-23. But I believe it's going to be less than a score, more than likely a field goal, more than likely a last-second field goal, and I think it will be off the leg of Harrison Butker. I believe the Chiefs will get the first Super Bowl era three-peat in NFL history.
And with Harrison Butker kicking the field goal, you see wild-haired feminists having a connection everywhere. Dustin,
and the girls go wild.
The girls go wild, but not in that way.
Right.
Dustin, how about you? What's your final score prediction? And who wins this game?
I've been back and forth on it. So many times already in my head, but I have a similar idea to Cole. I think it's going to be a very close game. And something in me says 27-24 Chiefs. Chiefs get this one. They get it done. They get the repeat done. As much as I want to see the Eagles win one for Saquon, I know there's a lot of Chiefs fatigue out there, but I've bet against them too many times, and they've proven me wrong every single time. How many times this year, Ryan, did I tell you on the show, the Giants have more 30-point games, as you correctly pointed out, and then I said eventually their luck is going to run out. It hasn't run out. At this point, it's past luck. They just know how to do it. They know what to do. 27-24, Chiefs win again. They pulled the three-peat off.
And the Chiefs actually finally scored 30 points in the game.
Right.
They did that in the championship. Yep.
Yeah.
They did it in the championship. All right. So I watched our preview from 2 years ago on Tuesday, just to kind of get the feel of what we're going to do for today's show. And I know Jared, if Jared were here, I guess unfortunately his grandma passed away, so he's at her funeral today. So
Condolences.
Condolences, thoughts, and prayers to our friend Jared. If you picked the Chiefs, he would have been happy because that means his Eagles were going to win.
Going to win. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jared. If they lose, it's on me. But I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, but I'm going to use the same score prediction that I had from 2 years ago, 38-34.
Okay, so you got a little bit more of a barn burner going.
I do, because I had that score prediction 2 years ago, and I almost nailed the score prediction.
Nice.
Here's something that I would love for you to all to savor. I really believe that if the score is that high, I think this time around it is in favor of the Eagles.
Yeah. I was telling the guys before you came in, Cole, I said the key to the game for the Eagles is that they had to get out to a big lead because you were not going to beat the Chiefs in a close game.
You can't do
so
it.
A score like this, like 38-34, it could be that they go up big and the Chiefs are just trying to play catch up for the entire game. And they do get it within 4 or get in within a touchdown score.
But the Eagles get that
game,
stop on defense at the end. Yeah.
And then time runs out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm seeing in this game. As long as my 8-leg parlay hits, I'm whatever.
Oh, and about the Chiefs Chiefs fatigue statement that Dustin said. I actually this must be the cynical fan in me. Ever since Taylor Swift has become a part of this equation, I've actually loved it. Because I'm like, you all are going absolutely apoplectic over a pop star dating a football player. I think it's absolutely hilarious. In fact, show her more and more. I don't give a crap. Just as long as you do not turn away from when the ball is snapped, I'm good to go.
And I don't even think it's the first time that's happened. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of pop stars or singers who have dated, athletes. I'm pretty sure it's happened all the time.
I mean, Tony Romo, when he was the quarterback of your wonderful Cowboys, he dated Jessica Simpson.
Right. And Carrie Underwood before she married Mike Fisher.
And Carrie Underwood, right.
Which, hats off to Romo. Those are two of the biggest scores he ever had. So,
wow.
He's not incorrect. I can take that. He's not incorrect.
So what you're saying, Dustin, is that Tony had his women singing this.
Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved? Calling me, texting.
I think that man's already been arrested by the detective Vic A. Law.
Vic A. Law, I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Tyrone Alizé McDummy, aka Tam.
Oh, Tam.
No, but don't forget there, Victor, the international Italiano-Irish villain Espresso McCoffee broke him out of jail just for this show.
Oh yeah, I know.
Nicknames, Vic. Good. I love it. I love it. Keep them coming, bro.
So we got our score predictions in, but I want to hear from the panel. What's one quirky thing that you really hope happens in this game? And I'm going to lead off with Mr. Johnson.
One quirky thing that I want to see in the game. No, that's after the game. I was going to say, to just icing on the cake, Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift on the field.
Boring.
But that's after the game. You said during it. So during the game, it would be interesting to actually see if Jalen Hurts can beat one of those well-timed Spagnuolo blitzes.
Okay. Victor?
Basically, tush push versus one of those Spagnuolo blitzes would be nice. After the game, I would say have one of the refs jump in Patty Mahomes' arms, and he's scared him out. Right.
Just as long as George Karlaftis doesn't pull a Frankie Louvu, I'm good.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
That was terrible, man. Frankie Louvu. I was getting mad. I'm like, why are you doing it again? Why are you doing it again?
If Jared were here, he would be having an 18-minute rant about how much he hates Frankie Louvu. Dustin, how about you?
All right. So during the game, and I kind of talked about it. For as much as I am a running back fan, it's going to be great for me to watch these two running backs because I love the way Isaiah Pacheco runs. He runs very hard. But I'm kind of hoping that Patrick Mahomes does uncork one to DeAndre Hopkins, just because I love to see a long ball in the Super Bowl. I feel like the Super Bowl is the venue for it, and it's when you empty the playbook, so to speak.
Yes.
Get something, Andy Reid, get something out of there that you haven't used much this year because you're a West Coast offense guy, which I forgot about. He's from the Holmgren coaching tree, which was from the Walsh coaching tree, the West Coast offense. But for after the game, and I know that he's come out and he said he's going to coach one more year. But if the Chiefs win, I think there's a high probability that Andy Reid decides, you know what, fait accompli, I'm done, and rides off into the sunset. Because what else is there for him left to prove? And to do it against his former team, to do it when he there's no denying that in his earlier years with the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid struggled with clock management. He struggled with some things at the end of games. And he has successfully shaken that. And he's proven that he's one of the best coaches to do it in recent memory. So what is left for Andy Reid to prove? I think he walks off into the sunset.
Mr. Henry, I have something. I have a challenge. I have another planet to conquer for him.
What does he have to prove, Mr. McCarthy?
Career wins. He's at this time he's 273 right now, and Don Shula's at 328.
So I was about to say, but yeah, maybe that.
Do the math correctly, it's about
5-6
years. Wins. 55 wins.
So he would have coached like 5-6 years of a quality team like the one he has now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which I just think, and to kind of, I understand your point, Ryan, but I also, what are the chances if the Chiefs do this? It'll be the first time it's ever been done. So
in the Super Bowl era, yes.
Yeah, not even those great Patriots teams did it. And
good, because we would never had to hear the end of it from Boston.
Oh my God, it would have been horrible.
Oh gosh, I would have never heard the end of it on mentality.
We would have never heard the end of it if they had gone 18-0.
Yeah,
or 19-0. Excuse me. We would have never had to hear the end of it if they won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
I can already hear Wise now. F the Patriots.
F Boston.
Yeah.
We must acknowledge the tribal chief since
we have to. Yes.
Or just go down the list and the roster of Patriots just to say F Boston. I can, if that happened, I already know that's exactly what would happen.
Like following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Wise, man.
For our tribal chief.
I'd have to say Wise. I'd have to do 1 hour for you to do this. An hour show for you to go off on F Boston on the Patriots only. If that happened, I could pitch him doing that.
Yeah. I don't think that's too far of a. But I think with Andy Reid, I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Even if because with the window being the way that it is in the NFL and in the parity league, and then look what's happened to the Lions. The Lions didn't even win the NFC Championship, and their staff is still getting decimated. You can't keep You can't keep the cohesion together like that. Coaches leave, players leave, and eventually. So I just don't think, and I don't think he'll be able to have a better finish than he could if he wins, if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
So next month he'll be 67. So it's possible.
Yeah. If he coaches as long as Pete Carroll has, and is going to.
Yeah, but he has a low key energy, unlike Pete Carroll.
Much.
Oh yeah, Pete Carroll. He's like, let's go, let's get this done. Oh! Chewing the gum relentlessly. 15-year-old. And Andy Reid's just sitting there like, yeah, okay, let's wrap this thing up. I got a cheeseburger waiting in the locker room for him.
You just have Andy Reid, riding off the sunset and promote Quaker Oats oatmeal after this,
Oh Lord, not have it be the next Wilford Brimley. Goodness.
Oh man,
I'm
Andy Reid, and I'm here to talk to you about diabetes.
Yes.
So, as for me, one quirky thing I want to see in game is I want to see somebody. I want to see a player that just comes out of nowhere and scores a touchdown. I don't care if it's a game-winning touchdown. I don't care if it's a touchdown in like garbage time. I want to see a player that nobody expects to get a touchdown.
Maybe a lineman.
That happened 2 years ago. Did we know the name Sky Moore before Super Bowl 57?
No.
You were unless you were deep into the draft or you were a Western Michigan fan.
And then last year, although Hardman did receive a deep pass, he was the one who caught the game-winning reception for touchdown. So, there you go.
Yeah, you're welcome for sending him back to you, Mr. Hardman. Because he was a Jet, and then he was so put off by the team culture. He's like, I'm out of here. Trade me. And they trade him for a 6th-round pick. So you're welcome.
That does not sound bitter at all, Ryan.
Me? Sir?
Mutually assured destruction.
The other thing I want to see that's kind of quirky is I want if Patrick Mahomes suffers an injury, I want to see a referee pick him up like Kevin Costner picked up Whitney Houston, the bodyguard, and carry him off the field with.
No.
And
oh my God!
Love you by Taylor Swift in the background.
Oh Lord!
All right, before we take our commercial break, a couple of comments from the comment section here. Mr. Kevin Wilson of Belly Up Fantasy Sports says, "How about if Patrick Mahomes throws an interception? That's something we rarely see."
That's a good point.
True.
And he also says non-Super Bowl related. Oh, this is breaking news. Hang on, I like the breaking news bumper here. Hang on, I got some breaking news for you guys.
I love the breaking news bumper.
Kevin Wilson with the news. Non-Super Bowl related. There will be a protest today before the Mavericks play if you want to get involved.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, fans are still mad. Mad.
They live it.
I talked about it for a half an hour. Ryan was like,
I was going to ask you. I was like, look, let's lay out. What did you think about that trade? Since you're a Mavs fan.
Oh man. Well, to sum it up real quickly,
I got 30 seconds, Dustin.
Not
30 minutes.
I understand that Anthony Davis is a fantastic player in his own right. He's probably, I don't know enough about basketball to make this determination, but he's probably top 10 player in the league. He's having his best season. But my major problem with letting Luka go is Anthony Davis is 6 years older. 6 years older. And one of the concerns about Luka was his injury history. Guess who else is often injured? Anthony Davis. So I just, no shade against Anthony Davis, but I cannot justify the Mavericks trading someone who just helped them get to the finals. Yes, he was a liability in the finals, but he's 25 years old. He's entering his prime. He's going to get better. Anthony Davis is 32 years old. He is on the tail end of his prime. He shortens your window considerably. If you do not win now, this trade will be a massive debacle. I am not arguing. This trade probably made the Mavericks better in the short term, but you cannot get rid of a player of the caliber of Luka Doncic, considered by many to be top 5, if not top 3 in the NBA, entering his prime. And the issue I had is the Mavericks did not shop him. If you don't want to pay him the supermax, have the guts to shop him and tell your star that you're going to shop him, instead of covertly going to the Lakers when you probably could have at least inquired about the younger player from the Timberwolves, who is escaping me right now.
Anthony Edwards.
Yes. You could have inquired about Edwards. I'm not saying they would have given him up, but that's the thing. Go out and shop him. Go out and shop him instead of behind the back going to the Lakers because you're afraid that it's going to get back to Luka. That's it.
I will sum it up this way. I had a friend we talked about this last friend and I were at the local watering hole talking about that trade last night. And I talked about how the Supermax came into effect. And we both came to the conclusion that if Mark Cuban were still majority owner,
oh my God,
that trade would have never happened.
Cuban doesn't make it. Cuban doesn't make it at all.
My first thought was.
Oh, go ahead.
My first thought was, who asked Jarrell for trading in this?
I'll keep this will be the last comment before we go to break. Kevin says, "Sum it up. Mavs are dead to us."
All right, Kevin O'Leary in the house. I like that.
All right, we're gonna take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll do a quick hot food takes, and we'll talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 11. Plus, we have a new segment coming up because a certain goal scorer in the NHL is closely approaching Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. So stay tuned. Stand by for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. Oh, it's over. Okay. Invader Coffee.
Fuel for the fearless.
In my mug every Saturday for the Saturday show, unless I'm in a hurry and I go to a local coffee shop and get coffee. But I have in my mug the remainder of the Chocolate Lust, which is the seasonal brand for their Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Calm down, Deshaun.
Come here, girl.
Oh,
Give me
no.
the towel.
I can't tell if it's Deshaun Watson or Justin Tucker.
Poor
But
Deshaun Watson. He'll never get past.
he'll never live that down. But you know what? You can never also live down is Invader Coffee. The great taste of Invader Coffee. Get yourselves some of their regular blends, which is the OG blend, the darker blend, which is more of an espresso tasting blend. They've also got the seasonal flavors. We just ended Christmas with their seasonal flavors. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Dustin's favorite, the Donut Dealer, is back in stock.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, it's a great coffee too, and it's one of his favorites. And they also in addition to the regular coffee, which you can get either in whole bean or ground, you can also get some of their cold brew, and they sell them both individually and they sell a case of 12. So you get yourself some of their great cold brew coffee. And what you want to do is visit the link in the description, which is our affiliate link. So you can help the show. You can also save yourself 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP at checkout. It's a great coffee. The low acidity, the air roasting, the special air roasting that they do gets rid of all that acidity, gives it a smooth taste. You don't have to put extra ingredients in your coffee like sugar and milk and cream, which just adds more calories. No, you can drink. I drink it black. you should, and it's a great blend. It's nice and smooth. It's awesome coffee. It's awesome coffee. And we always vet our sponsors before we put them on the show. I had the Invader coffee before it became a sponsor of No Credentials Required. It's great. It's great coffee. So again, go to the link in the description. It helps the show. Get yourself some coffee. Get yourself some cold brew. Get yourself some gear too. And thank us later also. So because you'll agree, it's some of the best coffee you'll ever have.
So tonight, let it be low and Invader coffee.
All right.
To steal an old bit from Kids in the Hall, if anybody watched that, 30 Helens agree. Invader coffee, great coffee.
Whenever I think of coffee and comedy bits, I think of Chris Farley, the coffee bit for the decaf during Saturday Night Live, where you tell him it's not actual coffee, it's decaf, and he just, the look on his face goes from utter joy to horror. You son of a beep. He flips the table. You no good line, son of a beep.
It's funny because at the day job here, each week we have to prepare coffee for a class that we have on Thursday nights, and I'm usually the one preparing that coffee. And one time, people started to arrive early for the class, and I make 2 pots of regular, 1 pot of decaf, and somebody came up to me and he's like, "You don't have to finish making that. I'm not going to drink it." And I said, "Well, somebody drinks the decaf. I don't know who, but there's some of it is gone each week. So I keep making it." And he goes, "Well, you won't catch me drinking it." He said it so seriously too. Like,
it's not a coffee war, sir. Calm down.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And before we move on to our next segment, just want to give you a heads up that Invader Coffee gets the No Credentials Required seal of approval. There's
oh gosh, no.
well, hold on. I did not know that the Bron Joy Juice clapping seal was moonlighting.
No, we got our own seal. We got our own. His name is Puppers.
Puppers the seal. But I have to tell both of you gentlemen, and Ryan will never do this again, but one of my favorite moments in the history of the show is when Ryan, the first time he introduced Puppers, he said, Invader Coffee gets the art seal of approval. And he did the clap too. And he realized after he did it, I said, somebody's got to clip that out. And he said, it will be me, but he has never done it again. That moment lives in the vault.
I haven't.
If you want to find it, you got to go back to our YouTube channel and watch the old
That
episodes.
is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Snowman joining us, and he's laughing. He's laughing.
As long as it's not Bron.
Oh man.
Move on to a Saturday tradition that is hot food takes. And this is all about Super Bowl snacks.
Man, bring that element back, because I might want to have that burger.
The cheese,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Cole.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
The bun bouncing scares me though.
Yes, that's what Ryan and I talk about it every week. We're afraid the top bun's gonna fly right off. We don't know. We don't know.
Thank you, sir.
Snowman added, not the seal. No, this is our seal. This is our seal, not the clapping seal. So, hot food takes. We're going to talk about Super Bowl snacks. What? And I'll start off with Victor because he's our premier guest. This is his first appearance on the show. What's your go-to for just any one particular snack for Super Bowl?
Hooters wings. To start off with, I mean,
okay.
I've always liked the taste of the sauce that they dip their wings in. So usually that's how I'll do this year. It's probably either Hooters wings or maybe pizza.
Okay,
nice.
Cole Johnson.
Wings definitely, and tomorrow I plan on dining on a dozen of wings at a place near me. Get it shipped home, and I'll probably tear into them when kickoff happens. So yeah, wings definitely. Maybe for a change of pace, beef nachos.
Ooh,
so nice. Very important question for you, Cole. With your wings, blue cheese or ranch?
ranch. I don't mind blue cheese, but I'm a bigger ranch fan than blue cheese.
You are not allowed in Buffalo.
Look, I love you, Bills Mafia. I love you, Western New York. I do not care.
I prefer my wings without either condiment. I just eat them. Drink them.
Your wings.
Now with or without, I'd rather without. Yes.
Okay.
That was a weird. You're drinking wings?
That slipped.
Yeah, I can picture Ryan taking the bones out, putting the wings in a blender, and just,
oh my gosh.
They have to be wings, or as I call them, frosty nugs.
With or without the bones?
Out the bones. I think he said to get the bones.
Okay, I was about to say.
If I want that extra taste of marrow, I would leave the bones in.
Yeah, the health benefits, Ryan.
Yes, the bone marrow is good for you. Dustin, how about you?
All right, I'm going. So for me, wings are like the default football food. I mean, it just pairs perfectly. Now, one year, usually I have a Super Bowl party due to things that happened, me getting sick among them. I'm not having my Super Bowl party this year. I love wings, but the year that I decided to make 100 wings with 3 different flavors was absolute hell in the kitchen. So if I'm making the food, I don't make wings, but I love wings with the Super Bowl. You hit the nail on the head, gentlemen. I will be having pizza tomorrow. I made homemade pizza dough. It is fermenting in the fridge right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And for a snack, Doritos are a Super Bowl staple for me. You got to have Doritos, nacho cheese.
I'm not averse to pizza either. So yeah.
No, I gotta ask Dustin because you're making pizza dough. I'm in the middle of I'm concluding a craft brewing certification class. I just learned all about water. Did you make sure that the alkalinity of the water was on point? Did you make sure that the water hardness was okay before you put together your ingredients?
I did not. I did not use spring water.
It's okay. You don't have to answer that question.
Yeah, I just
like, it's all in my head now. And I'm like, I'm trying to get it out because of the way that I will say hot food take for this one for pizza.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey pizza is better than New York pizza.
You've said this for years. You've said this for years.
I have.
And thus World War IV was declared.
Bring it on. I'm right here.
Jersey pizza is better than New York. Okay, why?
Jersey pizza. It's just made different. I don't understand. I mean, it made the same way as New York pizza, but I just happen to think maybe because I'm biased because I'm originally from New Jersey, but the pizza shops I've been to in New Jersey have better pizza than the ones in New York.
I can understand that.
Well, yeah, I could. I mean, it's close enough, like regionally. I don't think.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think sometimes with all of us, and in this right now, and everyone across the world who is watching now, I think nostalgia plays a bit in that, Ryan, because I think Jersey pizza is what you grew up with initially, so nothing is going to match that taste,
No.
That's why I still have a soft spot for Pizza Hut. Yeah, that's right. Pizza Hut's its own thing, but I'll eat it because I have the memories of like going there after Little League games and the red Coke cups and all that kind of stuff. Nostalgia is a powerful thing.
See, with that sound take, Dustin, man, now it's gonna suck for me to have these arguments about barbecue. Because I clown everybody and their mama. I'm like, look, all can say that you're gonna say that your place is, but Texas barbecue is better than anything else. And now I have to actually enter into my thinking. I grew up with it. Oh man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with regional foods. Okay, New York, the New England, New York, Mid-Atlantic region. We've got pizza and bagels, especially New York and New Jersey. We got the pizza.
Oh yeah.
Southeast, you got the seafood.
True.
Midwest, barbecue. I don't know what you're doing in the West Coast, avocado and mushrooms and all that stuff. You can have
strange.
But vegan food. I don't know.
Anyway.
What about burritos, Ryan? I would say maybe burritos.
That's Southwest. That's Southwest.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Tex-Mex, Mexican. Yeah.
For me, I've said this on the show, but I'll repeat myself because I enjoy sometimes doing that. I make a mean chili, and I enjoy having a nice hot bowl of chili with some Fritos in the I put Fritos
scoops
in the chili, not the scoops, like OG.
I did that.
OG Fritos.
Okay.
I did that a couple of weeks. Actually, I did it last week. Exactly that.
I should kick myself in the behind, man. That's the thing I haven't had this winter, and it'd be perfect.
I haven't had it either. I haven't.
Yeah, it'll be perfect to have from now until probably April.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with my chili. I mix my meats, so I'll put in a red meat and I'll put in a non-red meat. So what I'll do is I'll mix it up occasionally. The last chili I made with ground pork and ground bison.
Ooh,
yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, it's good.
Ryan getting exotic on us with the exotic.
Just separate my shoulder. I'm gonna pat myself in the back for making that bomb.
Well,
don't pull a muscle.
Even though that is great, and that does sound good, though. With your chili, as they say on Shark Tank, for me, I'm out.
Okay. I have also made a ground chicken chili as well. So
then I'm in with that. Then I'm all in on that. Yes,
okay.
And I'll be all in with an all bison too.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I've done beef and ground chicken, or yeah. So I mix my meats in, and it works out. It just works out. But
that's cool.
Got some more comments in the comments section. Grit on the Gridiron, one of our newest credheads, saying McDouble with only ketchup, McChicken with only mayo. Okay.
All right.
Cool, man. Okay.
That's cool.
Those are good.
Yeah, both are good.
Kevin Wilson saying, I gotta have the wings, lemon pepper especially.
Oh, the place where I'm going to order the wings tomorrow, they actually will be doing that. So, and I'm gonna order with lemon pepper wing. I'm ordering with lemon pepper.
Oh, nice. And Kevin also in Texas, so
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He also said blue cheese should not exist.
Thank you, sir. I have. Okay, all right. I'll say it. I'll be real quick. My father loves blue cheese. Mm-hmm. I thought he was an alien when I was younger. I'm like, why would you want to put this junk on your salad, Dad? I don't get it.
It's the funk.
And of course, he said, when you get to be an adult, you can do what you do. This is what I do. This is what I like. You can step off. I'm like, all right, no problem. But just know, on the record, Dad, I think that's gross and ridiculous.
Yeah.
He also agrees. Homemade pizzas, sign me up. Yeah, absolutely. OG Fritos are the best. And our friend Julie from Michigan saying, hello, gentlemen. Hello, Julie. Thanks for joining us.
Julie, nice to see you.
We appreciate you. I want to know, as a Lions fan, if you're going to be watching the Super Bowl tomorrow too, because she's a big Lions fan. She's from Michigan. Very disappointed at the outcome from the divisional playoff, but I'm kind of curious to see if she's still going to watch. But this has been our edition of Hot Food Takes. Bouncy buns.
There's that burger. And I have a bigger screen where I am now, and I never really noticed the state of that tomato. That looks concerningly juicy.
It's probably a beefsteak tomato.
Probably is.
That tomato.
Oh my goodness. All right. Our last segment of this recording. This is episode number 11 already of No Crunches Required in 2025. And we've been doing something special in regards to our favorite athletes we've seen play. And I thought about this idea. I said, why don't we do our favorite athletes to wear number 11? And Dustin came up with the caveat. It has to be someone we've actually seen play. Like, it can't be from somebody in years past that is from a bygone era. Like, it has to be somebody who we've actually watched on television, watched live, to wear the number 11. And our special guest, Victor, I proposed him the question. He says, yeah, that's a curveball to think about this one. Like, well, now you're on the spot, pal. So,
I do have one.
Okay.
One of my favorite players was on the Bulls dynasty, and he not only used number 11, he also played under number 10, and that is B.J. Armstrong.
Okay.
I forgot he wore 11.
I just remember wearing number 10, but I forgot he wore number 11 too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right, Cole Johnson, how about yourself?
I'm debating on the choice of 11 that I want to use. But you know what? I'm going to endear I'm going to endear and anger at the same time one of the co-hosts of this program.
Uh-oh.
I would have to say probably my favorite person to wear number 11. I would have to say Mark Messier.
Oh,
Ryan's face.
You only knew my hatred for Mark Messier.
He's on the Oilers too, Ryan.
The New Jersey. I understand as an Oilers fan, yes. For you, Dustin, yes. But for me,
and now we have seen the international Italiano supervillain Espresso McCoffee emerge.
I'm glad I made Dustin happy. I'm sorry I made you angry, Ryan, but I knew when I was going to say the name.
Continue your line of thought, Mr. Johnson.
I knew when I said the name, I was like, Ryan he's gonna hate when I say it. But it was. For me, I grew to actually love the guy, and actually I grew to love him actually in Edmonton, and not really when he became a Ranger. I loved him when he was an Oiler because I felt as though he was unheralded because people heaped all the praise on Gretzky, and I'm like, well, you have this stud of a player, and he doesn't get his just due. And then he finally got his just due, unfortunately, with the Rangers. And I know he X'd out your Devils en route to the first Stanley Cup that the Rangers have hoisted in 54 years, and now they have another streak that they have to break because they haven't hoisted one in 30 since then. But because I had to deal with the Knicks the same year, I was following a lot of New York sports then because I was like, okay, let me follow the Knicks, and okay, so this Rangers stuff is really interesting, and this Eastern Conference final with the Devils, I actually like it. It's kind of cool. And then I was wrapped into that and was hooked up with him. And unfortunately, yes, the Game 6 thing. I think that was pretty much when I was like, I really like this guy.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. Right. That's fair. Okay.
But I want you to know, it was not to rub it into you, Ryan, that of the name and what he accomplished, because I actually fell in love with him as an Oiler.
Okay. Understood. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. I would not have to ban you from the show.
Oh man.
Dustin, you're number 11.
Oh man.
Well, I'm going to keep it quick. And Ryan, you've known that this one is coming. And Cole, do not worry about angering anyone because I am going to anger and shock a lot of people with my number 11.
Okay.
But I'm picking him. Brett knows it's coming. If he, I talked about it when we talked about Yankee memories on his show.
And he is watching, by the way. Shut up. Brett Redlinsky 1420 podcast.
Shout out to you, Brett. And thank you for reading that Righteous Felon ad as well. Yes. It's always nice to hear your voice on the show. It's Chuck Knobloch for me. It's Chuck Knobloch. I can't understand why. I can't explain why very articulate in an articulate manner. But I always just liked him. I think it was partially because I identified with him. He was shorter. I'm short. He was kind of at the time an atypical frame, especially by the time he got to the Yankees. Atypical frame for a baseball player. He's a little stocky. He had that very odd batting stance, which I used to try to imitate it. I don't know how he was able to hit the ball at all. Now, his Twins years, those were his best years. He actually won the Rookie of the Year award, I believe, in 1991.
Yes, 1991.
Okay, 1991.
Because that's the year they won the World Series.
Yes, that's right. He got the World Series ring and Rookie of the Year. He was very good for the Twins. Yep, there it is. Now
that's the batting stance I'm demonstrating, folks.
Yes, the
once he came over to the Yankees, which is where I first really started watching Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah.
There were some problems, but you can't argue. In 1998, he was still a good leadoff hitter for that lineup. He was good at setting the table for that 1998 lineup, which everybody remembers. And if you're not a Yankee fan, you hated them. We as Yankee fans love them. Mm-hmm. But I love number 11. Also, I think part of it was when I was a kid, I didn't want to wear the Jeter jersey. I didn't want to wear the jersey that everybody was wearing. And so I always chose Chuck Knobloch, and it was just very. People always saw that, and they'd be like Knobloch, and they'd kind of give me a look, and I was like, you are 100% right, Chuck Knobloch. I'm gonna rep him, and by the time I saw one of my first Yankee games live at the old stadium, he had already gone through his period where he was moved to left field and he had the yips. And before one of the games, I went down and I leaned over the third deck in left field and I said, "Hey, Nobby," and he actually acknowledged me. He gave me a little wave, so I liked that. Nice. I've always liked Chuck Knobloch. I can't really explain why, because his Yankee career, not the best, but I enjoyed watching him play. And honorable mention to Brett Gardner, another number 11. I must have had a thing for 11 on the Yankees, like the way Brett Gardner played the game as well. But 11 is the pick. Chuck Knobloch. Shout out to you, Chuck.
Let's see, note to self: Dustin would not wear an A-Rod Yankees jersey.
No,
I like him even better already.
Yeah, they had that. He had the case of the yips at second base.
Yeah,
when he famously hit Keith Olbermann's mother in the head with an errant ball. Knowing who Keith Olbermann is now, I wish it would have been Keith Olbermann who got hit in the head.
Oh no! Why would you say that, man? I know he's an oddball, but good lord,
I'm kidding. Mostly.
Yo, with the errant ball.
No, you ain't kidding.
Dude burned so many bridges. My goodness, he's running out of matches. My favorite number 11. He just got the joke.
No. I got a joke. I gotta steal that line.
Oh, thank you. So for me, my favorite number 11, wide receiver out of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, Larry Fitzgerald. That guy was absolute magic on the field, and I wish they would have won the Super Bowl in 2013, the Cardinals, because of him, his performance in that game. And if it weren't for the toe tap by Santonio Holmes, it wasn't for the 92-yard interception return by James Harrison, Cardinals would have won that.
Yeah,
the Cardinals would have won that game, and MVP of that game would have been Larry Fitzgerald. Because he carried that team on his back that entire 2012 season. Also carried, and he's also carried some number of my fantasy football teams as well. But that's not the reason why he's my favorite number 11.
Right.
He's.
But he was just whoever was his quarterback. It would have been Carson Palmer, whether it was Kurt Warner or insert quarterback here, Jake Plummer.
Basically.
I think Jake Plummer might have been gone by then, but maybe.
He might have been on the Broncos. I can't remember. Or Jeff Blake. I know Jeff Blake was his quarterback when they.
But regardless of who
Matt Leinart.
Yeah, Matt Leinart. Oh my gosh, Matt Leinart. Good lord. But whoever his quarterback was, he always seemed to make them look better.
Yep.
And he was just a dude. He was a dude of dudes, not only for his stuff on the field, but also the stuff he does off the field. I believe he won Walter Payton Man of the Year a couple times in his career. And these stats alone are just ridiculous. They're over almost 1,400 receptions, over 17,000 receiving yards, 120 receiving touchdowns, had some memorable moments in the playoffs, including that touchdown catch in the Super Bowl where he put the Cardinals in the lead. Also that memorable running catch against the Packers, I think the next season, which put the Cardinals over the top for that year, that season. So for the playoff round, but the guy was just magic to watch in the field, an absolute gem of a dude off the field. And he's my favorite number athlete to wear the number 11. And then there's countless others too. We got Barry Larkin, Isaiah Thomas, Chuck Knobloch, Phil Simms.
I love Chuck makes the list.
Yeah, Phil Simms. I'm trying to think who else number 11. We got a couple of comments about number 11 in the comments section. Julie says that she's probably not going to watch a Super Bowl. She says she thinks it's the most overrated Super Bowl. but she will watch the Puppy Bowl instead.
Oh, right.
Who you got, Julie? You got Team Fluff or Team Rough?
Oh, man.
The Puppy Bowl.
Remember when John Sterling did the Puppy Bowl that one year?
Oh my gosh!
Well. To warm Dustin's heart, you could say Kyrie Irving.
Oh yeah, that is true. I've had to apologize many times to Kyrie.
He did apologize to Kyrie, to be fair.
Yeah.
Kevin Wilson saying, I know we're processing the Mavs, but Klay Thompson is my choice. He was a Warrior before he came to the Mavs, but he still wore number 11 with the Warriors as well.
That is correct.
Julie saying her favorite number 11 is Khalif Raymond because he's a Lions fan. And she also says, side note, Dan Campbell was robbed of Coach of the Year, and I'm bitter about it. So I'm mad at the NFL right now. So I'm boycotting the Super Bowl. LOL.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That's really hard. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. She's coming off the top rope on that one.
Sports Julie is definitely showing up in the chat for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Before we do that, I want to give our guests the chance to promote where they are. Victor, I'm going to start with you. Where can people find you? Where can they find Snowman in the Morning?
Well, you guys know, go to Snowman Multimedia. We're also going to have Snowman Sportsnet, and I am on every single morning when I can, on Snowman in the Morning. That's starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central, and we go 2 hours of nonstop sports talk.
All right. Mr. Cole Johnson, where can people find you?
All right. Well, let's see. There have been some programs that have been on hiatus, but they're coming back off of it. I will start with the one that has not been on hiatus, Total Football Talk. You can find that on Comey Media Incorporated. That is every Monday at starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, again on Comey Media Incorporated, the YouTube channel. You can also find it also on Comey Media's YouTube channel, Mentality. That's the show I host with my brother Wise El Jefe. We've had to take a hiatus for personal reasons, but it will be coming back very soon. I'm looking forward to it just simply because there's a whole lot of things that's going on in the world, and I know Wise has a lot of takes on it. And then there is the program that I've been on hiatus for a minute, but I'm coming back strong with it either this Monday or next Monday.
Hey,
see on the screen, BS3 presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. It will be returning weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, on the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. That is the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. If you want to know what's going on with the news, what's going on with sports, what's going on with weather, and if you want something that's uplifting and it brightens your day and it lifts your day, and you want to hear something on a spiritual note, this program is for you.
All right. And here's where you can find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find many of our articles and podcasts on bellyupsports.com. And on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, wherever you find podcasts. And also get yourself notified on Twitter. Again, I still refuse to call it X. And on YouTube. That way you know about show announcements. You know about videos that go up, video clips, our shorts. Again, our shorts are exploding. Not like the shorts we're wearing, but the shorts on YouTube. They're starting to explode. They're starting to take off. So we thank every one of our cred heads for watching, for sharing as well. On the podcast side, rate and review, 5-star rating. Leave a review if you can. If you're on Spotify, leave a comment. That way you know you're watching. Also, share with a friend. Share the podcast with a friend. Tell your friends, tell your enemies all about the No Credentials Required podcast. And if you're watching on the YouTube Belly Up Sports YouTube channel on replay, or you're watching on Rumble replay, again, leave a comment. No thirsty hoes, please. No thirsty hoes. We're poor.
Oh, man.
So that's going to do it for this edition of No Credentials.
Expecting that to come out your mouth. I love it, but I wasn't expecting that to come out.
You were speechless, I can tell. We want to thank you for joining us on No Credentials Required, the Saturday edition where you don't need a press tag pass to talk sports. presented by Belly Up Sports. We'll be back on Tuesday, recapping the Super Bowl. Sorry, the big game. Sorry, don't sue us, NFL. I don't want to get another. I don't want to get another notice from Roger Goodell saying we want your money.
Oh boy.
But yes, joining us on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll recap the big game, everything that happens tomorrow night. We'll recap it, and we'll figure out what's going to happen from now until football season begins. But we're going to come up with more content as well. So stick around for that. But in the meantime, for Victor, for Cole, for Dustin, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Thanks for tuning in to No Credentials Required, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the big game.
Nikki, Siri, Trash.
Good morning, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Gladiator 2 is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Rated R. Years after the death of Maximus, Lucius is forced into the Colosseum after his home is conquered by tyrannical twin Roman emperors. With the future of the empire at stake, he must find strength and honor to return the glory of Rome to its people. Gladiator 2, now streaming on ParamountPlus.com.